employed full-time, and now she was working in a private hospital. So I mentioned what is your total monthly income. I mentioned her monthly income in PKR, which is Pakistan rupees. Name of the company organization, that was a private hospital name again. Applicant, job title, and applicant work duties. The address of our current employer, which was a hospital name, hospital lane 123 ABC Road, and the city name. Country was Pakistan. The primary contact number, which was the hospital contact number. There wasn't a secondary contact number and there wasn't any email, so I just left those empty. And when did she started this job? I mentioned that she started a year ago, so I mentioned that. Do you have any additional paid jobs or occupations? I mentioned no, since she haven't doing any additional jobs. I filled this section and then I clicked on next. It also turned this section into green, and the next section was medical treatment. So I mentioned, have you ever received medical treatment in UK? That was no in my wife's case. So I clicked on no and clicked on next. The next section states about the sponsor details, which is myself. So I put down my name and address. So my family name or last name, my first name, my date of birth again, my nationality, passport and travel document number, place of issue is HMPO. No, sorry, it is United Kingdom. And issuing authority is HMPO. And then date of issue. I also opened my passport in front of me before I was filling this section, so that my name and dates are correct and absolutely according to the passport. It was issued for 10 years. Do you hold or have you ever had any other nationality or nationalities? Yes, since I am dual citizen, Pakistani and British, so I mentioned my Pakistani nationality details here as well. And is your current sponsor currently living in the UK? Yes, it is. And then I put my postcode and all the details here. Sponsor's primary contact number, so I put down my mobile number, my work number, and my email. When did they arrive in UK? So I put down, I arrived 9-10 years ago, so I just mentioned that. What is their status in the UK? So I'm a British citizen, so I mentioned that. Where is your sponsor now? City name, the UK. What is the relationship to you? Since I am the spouse, so I mentioned spouse. Will your sponsor be traveling with you to the UK? It was no in our case, so I mentioned no. And then I clicked on the next section. Next section asks about the English language. So I mentioned, are you exempt from the English language requirement? It was no in my wife's case, since she got her education from Pakistan only, and which does not qualify on the guidelines provided by UK Visas and Immigration. So I mentioned no. And how did you meet the English language requirement? My wife passed her IELTS A1 life skills before we got married. So I just mentioned IELTS A1 life skills and clicked on next. However, one thing I would like to mention here, I should have mentioned the UK VI number in this section, which I forgot to add, and I think that was a mistake on my part. I just mentioned IELTS life A1 life skills and clicked on next. The next section asks about additional information. So is there any other information you wish to be considered as part of your application? Is there any other information you wish to be considered as part of your application for settlement applications? Please include any information you wish to be considered about the best interest of any child or children you have in the UK or overseas. Whether the child is in the UK, you must demonstrate that you have a genuine, subsisting and active parental relationship with the child. That was not applicable in our case, so I just wrote down not applicable, and that was it. So it says confirm application. I will not click on this section here, reason being I have still to check these sections. So it's always a good practice, and I've done that. I've reread all these sections again and again just to make sure that there are no spelling mistakes, there are no typos, and there are no incorrect information or any piece of information that is ignored. So I just clicked save on that one. And that's pretty much it as far as the online application is concerned. After clicking save, it brought me to this page, and now I will go back to view my applications. It still states that status is incomplete, which means that I have to confirm the application to turn this section into green and open these rest of sections. Once I submitted my application, it brought me to this page, which is signed declaration, which is basic standard declaration form, which says that everything that has been submitted or information provided is to the best of my knowledge. So I signed that declaration, and then I put down the location for biometric residence permit collection. When I go into this section, it brought me to it asked me to put down my postcode, which I did, and then it brought down a list of the post offices where I can collect the biometric residence permit for my wife, and I chose the nearest one, a post office which was a mile down from my house, and then I booked appointment for the biometrics. I asked my wife if she can attend a certain appointment which I was about to book, and I was fortunate enough, since after submitting my application, I submitted on weekend, and the first appointment that was available was on Monday morning, and then I booked that appointment. After booking appointment, it asked me to pay for immigration health surcharge and application fee, which I did on my UK debit card. After making payment, I realized that the bank has actually charged me for transaction charges as well as foreign exchange fee. And if I had made payment from my Pakistan debit card, which is in local currency, I could have saved up to 10% of the value of both immigration health surcharge and application fee. So this is the one tip I would like to give if anyone is following this video presentation, to pay in local currency rather than from UK. Reason being is already very expensive application. I paid around the standard application fee was £1,524, and IHS charge was around £600, but I paid almost 10% above the value of both. So since it is already high charge, it's wise to spend in local currency and save some money on this. And then after you make payment for these two sections here, it will ask you to print out the application form. I will show you how does it look like. I will take a snippet of my original application and put it on here. And I printed the application, sent it to my wife. She then signed it on 2 places and then scanned back to me, which I then sent it across to the UKVI along with other supporting documents. She also took this printed application form and signed it and took it on our biometrics appointment, which I will discuss later in my other video.